And I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. And tell me why. All right. So Justin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right.
1, 2.
All right. So how do we begin? This is a question that I always ask. But we have a very familiar face in the building today. Jade was here. We cut into his intro right there. Jade was here.
Blame Jade.
Now we back. So, Jade saw the past episode and was like, bro, I got something a message to deliver to the people. A message that is so provocative and it's very timely. It's better than something that you could get on a Sunday morning. But we giving this to you on a Sunday afternoon. But welcome to Erryting Kool.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
The tourists come over to chill on the beach, but they don't come over the hill where we sleep. We got nightmares and they got fantasies. No sanity, it's just insanity. My mommy hoping nothing happens to me.
I mean, yeah, basically, John.
How do you say?
What Justin was saying is, I was trying really hard to think about, how to really begin the segment, but it's a similar theme of just somewhat everyone deal with is just pain and, different challenges and issues in life. And I was thinking, especially during this pandemic and, the past 2 years or so, what people was dealing with, what they was looking at, learning more about themselves or getting more lost inside themselves. And a lot of people really don't know what direction to go in, like what to do or where to go. So I was saying, when I look back on my life, it's still a long journey to go and what I want to do. And I think sometimes people feel like it's just 1 or 2 things that happen in your life, like, or you grow up in the ghetto, or you get shoot or something like that. That those are things that warrant, feeling sad or down or angry. But everyone, no matter where you come from in life, like rich or poor, black, white, or gay or straight or whatever in between, people deal with a lot of different issues. So, yeah, like that was the main crux of what I was thinking. And, a lot of stuff, it'll start from a really young age. Like I remember myself at age 4 or 5 looking in the mirror saying, who am I? like questioning yourself. And we don't even really test for mental illness and stuff in the bomb. It's like, I
don't think you test that
you could be crazy
young.
And you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, you could be evaluated though. Like let's say for instance you have some type of, because I have a language processing problem, so a learning disability, and I was diagnosed with that from like 7 or 8 after I became evaluated. So there is vehicles for it. Now, could most people afford it? That's a different question. So yeah, but like you, like at a young age, I questioned what my purpose is for being there, and I cling for purpose. Like I remember, it really came to head when I was 15. And then I was just led to go reconnect with my roots. That's when I first went back to my dad's island, Auckland, and sort of had an epiphany while being there, what I wanted to do. And it was all of this thus far. And, coming up, like, that's where I got like my media production company, like Chosen Few. And then ironically enough, years later, I found out that space where my family is from North Auckland, used to be the home of the Maroons, the runaway slaves. And then so it sort of connected me into, oh, this is why he is the way I is. And then learning about the family history. And okay, this is why I have this mentality. And not knowing that me searching for that purpose and finding, getting to that space sort of ignited and was the catalyst to bring me to who I wanted to be. Now, like we was talking about earlier, most people don't really get a chance to even understand their purpose.
A lot of times, people just living day by day. Like you thinking someone have, some plan. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be a firefighter. Or we just go outside, run up and down, go swim and play, go to a party, something like that. And a lot of the time, like I'd say with me in particular, I was more in appeasement mode. Like I'll just do good in school just to appease my parents, most of my mommy, just to make sure I could go out, could go outside, play ball. And when a lot of the time, we don't give children enough credit, I feel like we don't.
What do you mean by that?
We think that children ain't really ready to deal with like topics like, okay, where you want to be in this, where you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, where you want to
live
your life.
I totally agree with that.
And even with certain concepts like, sex and drugs and marriage, like a lot of the time people feel like, oh, children, they don't know about these things. They don't really understand. Like at very young ages, like some people, even like talking about people getting molested, some people exposed to these stuff like from age 6, 7. Like,
probably 5, bro. 5, 4.
Like you gotta, like I born in 93, so DirecTV came out somewhere around the year 99, 2000. So I remember when I was 7, that's the first time I ever saw porn. And it was my 7-year-old cousin who showed it to me. So I would say like, oh wait, how did he know about this? And then who was showing him this? So did he get molested or something? And then he came out to be, something else, but that's a whole different story. But I could even see how that affect my view of sex and women and relationships and everything.
No, I got a story like that too. What else was? And then two, it's worse today because the access to social media and things like that. But even back then, I think our parents sort of did a disservice with us, bro. Like they try to insulate us too much from the world. So it made us sort of introverted in a lot of ways. So a lot of these experiences, like Kaya cousin learn about these things. He probably sneak around and do this, but because they trying to make this utopia and hide you from what the realities of the world is, you can't even have an open conversation to talk about these things. So it's like I hide until it becomes prevalent in your life. You probably never really talk to them about it or even address the issues that you have by, being faced with sexual perversion at such an early age. So, And
then I just thank God that it wasn't nothing like I ever get like raped or nothing like that at a young age, because that's totally by luck and the grace of God. Because at age 6 and 7, you can't do nothing. If someone just come to you and pick you up and take you somewhere, then your life may go down that path of whatever it is that you will find sexually pleasing or whatever it is like that. And it's something to think about, because you have a lot of children who they was just born and then people do things to them and then they have these issues what they're dealing with most of their life.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, bro.
Yeah.
Like, especially, I wouldn't just say in this country, but I know a lot of people that have, a lot of women that have been either sexually abused or molested at some point in their life.
Mm-hmm.
So, when there's issues like such as like the baby Bella situation or other situations like that, that's very commonplace.
The who situation?
The baby Bella situation.
What's that?
Like with the 4-year-old who was murdered by her mother's boyfriend.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
People at work, they was talking about that, saying, well, kill him, I'll do this and that. And then payments, like, they go to violence so quick. In this case, it was warranted. It was this time. But that man, he was crazy. That man,
he was an abuser. He abused his ex-wife and his children.
Like, a man like that, you got to study him. You got to take his brain and study, like, look at his life and see how he get like this, because you can't rehabilitate a person like that. You gotta,
That's true.
like at this point right now, ain't no way to they ain't never find a way to rehabilitate like a pedophile and someone like that. Only thing, the closest thing they have is chemical castration, and that still don't even work all the time. So you got to study a person like that, like how he even could get turned on by a child. Like, hey, violence is still, they still have to do something about him, but you got to understand how he get to even be like that to try prevent it for the future.
I think when it comes to from a standpoint, I mean, in multiple facets, I think when it comes to a lot of men in those situations, it's because, first of all, they come from a scarcity mindset, but there's a lot of false sense of self, ego. Their mind has been warped and twisted to see their sexual frustration or pleasure to trump everything else, no matter what. And they haven't found that sexual discipline to know, hey, X, Y, Z. Even down with the whole raping situation. Why would you want to force yourself onto a woman when we live in the age of sexual liberation? So it ain't even about the sex. It's about something more psychological, of me breaking down this weaker being and getting a form of satisfaction from that behavior. So it's a lot of brokenness within that. There's a lot of non-self-healing. There's a lot of, okay, well, let's say these men were, because we pride as men, we always wanted this situation to happen to us. We young boys, and we want an older lady to put us in the game or whatever. But psychology, and that's never frowned upon, because we just be like, oh, well, I was 12 and I had sex with a 24-year-old or this and that or whatever the situation. But we don't know, we will understand, and that's not front of us, but we don't understand how that affects us psychologically or whatever. So it's like, it prompts the promiscuity. And then sometimes people go overboard with that, because now, okay, I'm not satisfied by just talking to a woman, and then I gotta go do this to a woman, or go with a younger.
He said the first time he had sex, his daddy put a prostitute on him.
Wow.
Like, a fine prostitute too, like, was it Colombian or something like that? But that don't make it no better. And then how that might affect his view of women, like,
yeah, how old was he?
Huh?
How old was he?
12.
Wow.
Yeah. And it kind of segued into my original point. There's someone, in an affluent community, saying no one who grew up in like town, nothing like that. So these traumas what people have and what they carry through life, it ain't just like you hit age 21 and you don't know your purpose, or you hit age 25 and you just lost in life, or you just depressed. It's like traumas that compound and build upon one another. Like, because I was like, I want to say 10, 11, I just have these thoughts with, like, it's so far ahead of my peers. And I wouldn't call myself a genius or nothing like that, but I just was exposed to my mother. She was a very intelligent woman, like a teacher for 24 years, and talking to me about things like, respecting people, women, being educated, not being a violent person. Like, these topics would grown men still don't even really really internalize the thing yet. So you will see these things happening, and then you'll say, well, why I feel like I just don't fit in with people around me. Like, how come I speak this way? How come, like, I carry myself this way? And I just feel so frustrated. Like, I just don't fit in. Like, when I in the Life of Geek crowd, they look at me as like ghetto. When I in Foxy, they look at me as too preppy. So anywhere you go, for a lot of people, they feel like you don't never belong in no circle. Like when I in a druggy circle, I might smoke weed, but I ain't doing, I ain't doing lines of coke. And so even them, they wouldn't really fully on accept you. So you see, and that's an issue in and of itself. Like, humans, we want, in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like, I forget all the steps, but it's baseline, food and shelter, then, money coming in, and then you got, and at the top of that is self-actualization. Right. So you want, like, feel like purpose and worth, and you want a sense of belonging, like where do I fit in, or who accepts me. So, and that's the issue with, I think, a lot of people, whether they could verbalize it or not, they'll deal with no matter where you come from in life. And that's why you have to stop silencing people. Like, people might come to you with their issue, what they feel bad about, like, I didn't get into the school what I wanted. And you say, so what, like, at least you could go to school, at least you could. But then that person, where they at in life, that's their issue. And yeah, it might not be a big thing to you, but you don't dismiss it. You don't be dismissive of people and their plights and their struggles and what they're going through, just because it may not necessarily be your struggle, So that was a big point where I want to, like, really understand that people throughout life, they deal with these things and process it. And it's like things building up one on top of the next, on top of the next.
Yeah, I think that's something that's just we generally have to go through. So what okay, as you got older and transitioned through these things, how did you come into adulthood per se? Because I think, like I was saying earlier, I think I realized today it took me 10 years to get to a comfortable place and finally become the person who I am, who I I've always wanted to be. And that's not just on a basis of career, but on a basis of where I'm comfortable, fully 100% comfortable with myself. So
the places where I've been in life, like, I live around and went to school with people from all type of different walks of life. Like, where I live around people in all different walks of life, like people who was up at the top, people who was down at the bottom, people who like people who will steal light and cable, and then people who will have, like,
how do you even steal light and cable?
All type of different ways.
Like, I always used to wonder that. It's like, wait, people will be like, I stealing cable from my neighbor, right? And I'm like,
and I ain't trying to portray myself like I grew up in the ghetto, not like some super hard, like, in the trenches story.
Yeah.
It ain't like that. Like, in Nassau is 21.7 miles wide. So no matter where you really live, unless you behind a gate your whole life, that's gonna find you, like, different walks of life and different types of people.
Yeah.
And so how I had compared was my transition in schools. Like, when I was going to QC, you get people who live in Camp Road, people who are politician children, people who just middle class, people from all over the place. And then it's like this sense of, I gotta be a boss, or I gotta be the hardest, or I gotta be show as the richest or as the coolest. And that was my mindset until like 13, 14. I was always like, I think when I go around certain people, I take on more qualities of them. And then I went to Life of Key, where I'm going to school with people from Switzerland and England and Jamaica and all over the place. And people who, like, own real estate companies. And it's a whole different mindset where you ain't trying to wear all your Tommy and all your polo and show everything that you have and all your gold chains. People trying to really be conservative with what they have. Like, they ain't trying to show you, like, I have all this money. They really trying to be more, like, low key with everything. And then you will see, like, certain names that you hold in such high esteem, like signs of affluence and all that. It don't really mean nothing. And then,
but that comes from having a scarcity mindset, though. Because if you're in a space where everybody have, why I need to show you that I in the circle to say that I got.
You know what you have.
Yeah.
And
but people know I have, because I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
And you ain't trying to, like, the big thing in Bahamian culture is people like to prove that they have it and they got money and I as the biggest boss. And when you go out into the larger world, like, even outside the Bahamas, like, the Bahamas is a little speck in the world. We in like you see, like, a wave come and blow this whole country away, like, and then we got to go somewhere else, and then you'll just be another number, no matter how much you got over there. So, like you were saying, like, what really might have, like, helped me change my mindset and grow into accepting myself is that, but I saw these people who, they didn't fit the typical mold of what you see would be accepted in society, and, like, everybody just kind of here doing whatever, just trying to be happy and find happiness and make a living. And then I went away to school, and then I saw before I went to COB, and I kind of went back in an environment like I said before, like, regular Bahamian mindset, like people who really just trying to flex and flaunt, show how much they have. And I lived in that again for a while. Then I went away, like similar, like you was in Georgia as well.
Yeah.
You got to see all the different lifestyles, people from all over the place, and again a different mindset. So it's so much inside of a person that you mightn't even think about, like, just their family, their hobbies, what things they want to do in life. And you see people in a whole different way. So how you accept yourself, it can't be by the standards of necessarily where you living or how much money you have. It's really what you doing, ain't nobody around.
Interesting. So how did you get from QC to Life Key?
I went there.
So your parents just was like, yeah, but we taking you out of QC, and then you going to sit on Life Key.
I feel like at that point, it was like I was starting to really just fall into what people was doing, like just trying to fit in more, and it wasn't making sense.
So they just was like, we could put you in this environment instead.
Mm-hmm.
No.
My mommy was a teacher there.
Oh, she was a teacher at Life Key.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right. It was like you often told tales, because I was thinking, well, fast forward to more Georgia. And my time in Atlanta has been a very pivotal time in my life. I literally turned from a boy into a man in that city. And, it was traumatic at different moments, like going through different things and having different experiences. But it was like a turning point to where you have to let go of what you once knew in order to get where you want to go. To where, a lot of unlearning, not alone learning, understanding this, understanding that, and sort of pushing forward. Because what would really got me to start like reminiscing about those days is like, young Dove just passed away. Like, he got murdered. And like I have footage of him before he blew up, because me, Jacoby, and Lloyd went to A3C 2014. We saw like a 21 Savage that wasn't famous yet. A young Dove that, he had like Preach Out, but he wasn't really like him yet all the way. Saw Ray Sherman before they really like took off. A couple other artists like TC Young Fly and things like that. And I was telling a friend, like, being around all these different people, and then Emmanuel Hudson and TC Young Fly would be in the same apartment complex as me, and they'd be like 2 doors down. It's like you're seeing all these things, and you like, okay, I hear for a reason, but why I can't obtain the success, and just understanding that whole wave of emotions, and then having to come back home with your tail tucked between your legs, because no one really want to come back home. But what did your time in Georgia teach you? Because you was at Kennesaw, so like what you learned during those years?
Right before I even went away, because I was trying to go away to school from my graduated high school, because like I going to school with millionaires and people who have pathways in front of them with just pretty much charted out like whichever direction they want to go in. And I was, like I say, in high school, you might already be feeling little feelings of insecurity, like, how come they have this and I don't have as much, or how come they have that and I don't have as much as this. So applying for scholarships, applying for all type of things for years, getting rejected, or like just not hearing back from people, government scholarships, and a lot of stuff like that happening. And then in 2014, my mother died. She had cancer, and I pretty much watched her deteriorate the whole year. 2014, I was working in QVS at the time, so I was just working.
So you already finished at UB?
I was still there. I was still doing all this at the same time, going to UB, working.
So what year you graduated high school?
2011.
Okay.
So still doing all of this, trying to work and maintain things, still have like a semblance of normality, and even trying to hold on to a relationship. And the person not really being that accepting of what I going through in life, like my mother and stuff like that. And then you will see, you pray and do all these different things, fast, and that even had me questioning God and
I think
for a long time.
after that situation, you was a different person because I think we had each other on Facebook, and I was like, because I knew your sisters because we all of us was in the same social circle, so I was like, yeah, like I wonder how Jade handling this whole situation.
I mean, it really destroyed me because that's
Of
like
course.
who I love
Yeah.
the most in life. Like,
Yeah.
I feel the closest with, like, who really, like, I can never disrespect my father or nothing like that because he always loved me my whole life and he was there for me too. But then for most of the, like, the
Nurturing
real hardcore advice, like real, like you say, nurturing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what most people, like, they really get more from their mother. So that sent me into a serious depression and a serious substance use problem, a serious just rage type issue where it'll just be ups and downs, like constantly for years and years. And you still dealing with all that type of stuff, you can be on a functional level because, like you say, so that happened in 2014, 2015, I was still in Nassau trying to scrape together money to go away, get odd jobs and all that type of stuff. Then I was able to go in 2016. So I gone away with problems. Like I gone away with these like emotional issues with these type of things. So so the people I'm meeting, they ain't meeting like this
A
Jade.
fully functional.
No, they meeting like ready to, just throw venom on people and just deal with people however like I need to do to get it. Cause I even gone over there with no real money really. Like, and Atlanta is people just scamming and finessing on a regular. So
yeah.
I just fit right into that. So,
No, because it make you want to scam and finesse too.
not even like making you do it. Like if you don't have everything that you need at that particular time, then you just need to get things done with. I wasn't selling drugs and nothing like that, but it's just how you will deal with people and
Yeah,
like,
no, but it make you sort of draw on that insecurity because you like, wait, I would out, and these people got.
I talking about basic stuff like just places to live, and
Yeah.
and yeah, bro, like not even having like car or nothing like I'll be using the food pantry at school a lot of the time to eat. I still smoking hard every day, so I working on the campus, but how much I working, most of that going on as partying and smoking. Girls still around, still going out with them, and then you finding good girls like who could be partners in life, and then you abusing them like not physically, but then just you ain't really cherishing them the way you're supposed to. So in my pain and my ignorance, you doing all type of stuff like burning bridges with people and not really, doing what you're supposed to do.
I hear y'all here brushing.
Russian.
I trying to see if this turn
Like,
just now.
Russian.
No, because I hear
What's
brushing.
outside? Like a paintbrush or something.
Anyways, now you must see freaking out because I hear some brushing.
Someone scrubbing off.
Yeah. And let's get to a quick commercial break. We very ready to get back because Jay about to get into something serious, and I want to cut it when he get into the good stuff.
I want to see someone speaking.
And we're
Yeah.
back. So, I didn't want to cut when Jade was about to get into the story, because like you told me the story when we went to Tinfurl 2020, like when we first opened up from lockdown, and like when you told me this, I was like, bro, you didn't do no therapy for this, and you was like you played up, you say no, babe, like this is that and that. So like when you recently tell me you like you started getting help, I was like, yeah, that's growth right there. I can let you tell it too.
Yeah.
Went to go to Kennesaw.
You mean with the robbery?
Yeah. Because based on what you're saying is you were still enraged by the past and your mother and you still was somewhat broken. So did that have like me knowing this information now and connecting them with that past information? Did that have anything to do with how you approach that situation?
The main thing, I wasn't even supposed to really be there because the dorms where I was on in-campus dorms, this was like the cheapest dorms you could live in. And they kick out everyone from them dorms. Like everyone who wasn't freshman, they kicked them out. So for like a year, I was just bouncing around from like couch to couch, giving people like $150, $200 a month just to like live in their French room or something. And I ended up living with one guy and his daughter. All of us used to work in the dish room together. There's one guy from Detroit, one white guy from New York Italians, and this way, and the guy from Detroit, his 6-year-old daughter. It's like a 2-bedroom, like apartment.
Also, this was in the school dorms.
No, this is all in school dorms.
Okay.
And he used to live like work in the military, or like he was at some point in the dish room as well. So like this, all us we used to smoke at the time, and then just be chilling and relaxing. So he has said this weird too, but we already know, like I already spoke to him before, like because there was some incident where he was trying to sell people stuff from out the power. So I already tell him like you can't do that again, right? Say
so
You sound like you're a crock addict.
No, but okay, so you, because I knew you was just like paying to stay. I thought you was actually staying. Had like a room and everything, and
as far as living on the like little bed in the front, like little couch, or like living in the front room, bro.
Wow.
Like yeah, bro. And then and these people,
no, because you was like how you was telling me the first time. I didn't know. When you were saying, yeah, I keep on telling the dude that I thought that was y'all's sport or whatever. See that now knowing this, he might have looked at like, but you won't even really live here. Da, da, da.
I put my name on the lease. Just because I didn't want to even have no say like that, so they could put me out, like because I wasn't paying them much. So it's my name on the lease and the white boy from New York. So already, like I saying, like don't be stupid. Like we live here, like whatever you want to do, like do it outside or like go drive the people. So you probably just say something to maybe like yeah, and we still buck heads with that, like after that. So he still let people, like, I think the next day, like, it's like 10 in the morning, they gone downstairs to go, because he locked his keys inside his car. He had a Durango and a BMW. So
he had 2 cars.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
So I think he was leasing one of them. I don't know.
Very simple.
Yeah. So he locked his keys inside one. So I helped him get it out. Like he pried the door open a little bit and like get some piece of hanger and just push down the unlock button to get it out. So I go on back upstairs, right? Oh, it's 10 in the morning now, like just bright sunny day, like everything about to be a great day. Like, so I see him walk back upstairs. They're like one boy, Justin, his boy eyes was yellow, like
wow,
like, and he looked like probably with 5, 10, 6 foot or something like that, and you could just see something off with him. So how the apartment was situated, like you walk in his room immediately to the left. This is the front room area. There's the hallway, and then it's the kitchen. It's the bathroom leading to the hallway, and his room connected to the bathroom. So I was in the bathroom, and then the other roommate room on the next side of the kitchen. So I in the bathroom, and I get here like he serving him or he weighing something up for him. He say, let me see it, like this and that. And I know something off because this ain't really like no ghetto, like nothing like that. Like people just buy what they don't get and then leave. So he said, let me see it. And as soon as he said that, yeah, like the gun cock. And he said, like, get on the ground. And this boy, like, from the military now walking, like, this big man. I say, like, please don't kill me. Like, just begging for his life. Like, please. And I just saying, like.
Oh, so he knew this dude before?
These people who I just know for a couple months, like, yes.
No, I'm talking about he knew the dude he was serving.
He never meet him in his life.
I got a story after you tell that about. Anyway,
I really want to make this into a movie. I was trying to produce this for a little while. I have a script written up for this and everything. So
yeah,
I can still like.
No, because we were supposed to do a skit about that, and when you was playing the man, well, you was gonna play you.
So basically, I just like, you know, F like expletive. I hear someone curse on the podcast.
Yeah.
In my mind saying like, wow. So all I thinking is I just try creep down the hallway, like get one knife out the kitchen and hug the hallway. Then we
So
turn
what
around.
did it make you think? Wait, let me just stay in the bathroom.
I know he was gonna come in the bathroom.
Yeah.
He used to clear out the whole house. He would kill all us in there probably. He come in there with no mask on. And then he looked like he was a little high already. So I said, let me just see if I could get a knife. Let me walk this corner. I could jerk him to pieces. And then when he come around the corner, like he already had the gun draw on me like this. So all I gotta do is just like, my hand to drop it down. So he put all this in the front room, put us on the ground, like, and he looking through the place and I remember me just begging, saying like, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. Like I have a daughter. And then the robber talking to him saying like, listen, I didn't have a dad. Like I wouldn't take you from your daughter. So in my mind, saying like,
Why
I said in my mind, like I saying, boy, F you on your dad, F you on your daughter, bro. Like you have us like on the ground. Right. And I saying, bro. So we just on the ground, and he's saying like where the money is. So I just like saying like, you know, money.
Bro, this dude bro, was probably there before, bro. Or
he probably was scoping the place out.
Yeah.
So now he only get like a little bit of weed my roommate had, and like I had $10 in my wallet, and he take a PS2 or like Xbox 360 and like one JBL speaker. So he's saying like, where I know it's somewhere, I know it's something else. And my roommate say, I get more money in my car. So I just like nah.
Why?
I just saying, what happened? Like I think in my mind, like what happened? Like, so he take us out the place. He walking us down now, like.
So ain't no one else seeing this way. Have y'all tie up?
We in the all this happening in the apartment.
Nobody talking about when he took y'all downstairs to the car.
We walking on the single file, and he walking up behind us like he ain't no one tie up or nothing like that. And he just walking out. So we going to the back of he going to the BMW, right? So it's in the parking lot, right? And so he walk in front of us now. My roommate standing in the trunk. So he walk in front of us now. My roommate between me and him. So I trying to signal to him to say like
jump him.
That's a Russian man. Right. Saying like, what? And he ain't do nothing. So I just called and going past him. And then as soon as I want to strike him, he say, like, what are you doing? Like, and just to signal the boy turn around. So as soon as the boy is turning around, like his head, like meet my fist, and I strike him, he just fall on the ground, and the gun fall onto the side, onto the curb. So just right in front of my roommate again now. And then me and the robber, like we just like going for the gun. They just jump for it, and he get it before me. So I just like gripping him, holding him, like just striking him. And we on the side of the car, like the BMW, like he like decided like leaning on it. I just strike, and he have the gun in it. So he trying to hit one shot at me, like pointing at my face, and I strike him, and then the gun going like in the air. So the first shot missed. And then he trying to get up.
Listen, when I hear this story,
so now he trying to get up off the ground, like to draw down on me to shoot me on the ground. So I just holding his collar, so I get his sleeve, so I get up with him. And then he's still like trying to like shake me up and shoot. And he shake me off him, and then he shoot again. So I just on the ground, rolling around, like on my knees, but getting cut up. Like I could put the link on the same video. Like
police are searching for an armed man who forced his way into the apartment of two Kennesaw State students, robbed them, and then fired several shots before driving away. Channel 2's Ross Cavett with us live on George Busby Parkway near the KSU campus with the unusual item the suspect was wearing, Ross.
Well, the victims told me the suspect appeared to have on an ankle monitor that you would get if you were on some sort of house arrest, which is very weird. It happened just before 11 o'clock in this complex just off George Busby Parkway near the Kennesaw State University campus. That suspect, as he was fleeing, yelled at the victims that he may come back for him, which is why those students did not want their identities revealed.
I heard the gun call, and he said, it's a robbery, get down.
This victim, too scared to show his face, told me the armed robber forced his roommate back into their apartment, then forced them both to lay down at gunpoint. He did not wear a mask.
At that point, you don't know what he is capable of, because he isn't scared to show his face.
The robber stole a couple of game consoles from the apartment, a bit of cash, then forced both students back out into the parking lot. The KSU sophomore told me he worried the gunman would force them to drive out of the apartment complex, so he jumped him.
Tussled for a little bit. He let off a few shots in the air, and I ran back up and tried, call the police.
For the most part, it's families and KSU students.
Neighbors say this aging complex just off the KSU campus has until recently been a peaceful mix of folks, but lately there's been an uptick in trouble, including more gunshots heard just last night.
It's a really nice neighborhood. Half the people leave their cars unlocked around here. You know, we all know each other, so it's like, it is a bit of a shock.
There's always cops through here for one thing or another.
He could have killed us multiple times, you know.
So the victim who stared at a gun and fought his attacker was moving out of the greenhouse complex, heading back to campus.
There's a heavy police presence out there, so I was so surprised he even tried that in broad daylight like this.
Very strange case here. Detectives say they're still working it. The suspect fled down here on George Busby Parkway in a light blue Toyota. The victim told me that he was living on campus at KSU, but was kicked out when his dorms were converted to freshman dorms. He was heading right back over there, hoping he can get a room back on campus once again. We are live near Kennesaw. Ross Cavett, Channel 2 Action News.
The news clip and pictures, everything like
we cut
man, that's big
yeah.
story.
So all this, and they just spinning around. I ain't staying still for like a second, so he don't get a clean shot. He shoot again. Like there's 3 shots now. He missed again. So I just run upstairs and like he run this car and like going off, and I call the police. I called the police. They came upstairs, right? They drawed on me. They saying like, you know, I black, so they could think, you know, I doing something at first, and then we going downstairs. They doing their report or whatever, bro. My roommate, you don't even know, you see where he was this whole time. He run out of our complex across the street to the next apartment complex, bro. No one. He just saw me with the police. He's saying like, "Hey, bro, you got shot?" I say, so I just there, like, just the police or the army just bandaged me up or whatever. Like they just getting a statement, like, and I just angry, just cursing and saying, you know, what happened, this and that, and like all that happened, and. Still now, going back to the campus, I still go on the same day, turning my homework assignments, like bleeding, bro. Like I walk around the campus bleeding, turn, like going to classes, like tell them what happened, and like people respecting that. Even my jaw, I didn't even tell them, but they had with it, like through some people must see, like they give me a raise because of that. So all that happened, right? And you was asking, like, was that a part, like, right, that was a rage thing? Like, right, I wanted to kill him. Like, I wanted to cut him down, and ain't no one would have blamed me, like, because
self-defense.
Yeah,
ain't no one would have blamed me, and then I still already, like, I just angry on this situation. I can't even really sleep properly. People in and out the place, like people just. You in America, bro? Like America,
I understand
in the South, bro. Like this, they racist, like they still really have ignorant mindsets, way. So I deal with all of this and still ain't really where I want to be at in life. Like,
and you're still trying to heal from your trauma and another person. And
still these things just keep on coming and compounding. Like, so it just be like, bro, if I die, but I could kill him. And ain't no one could blame me. Like,
right.
So, and I ain't no gangster, bro. I ain't no someone who grew up in no gang and nothing like that, or in no quote unquote bad area. This just me as a person. And it's something that's a fight or flight instinct in everybody. So that's why I keep on saying, like, throughout this interview, it ain't about saying
what background you from.
It ain't about that, because people have issues. People have serious issues in life.
Did the person ever got caught?
No, they ain't never get caught. If one Mexican police officer expect to do the statement, and like they say I can call you the next day, they ain't never called. So then I trying to go on campus now to see where I could live now. The campus, they giving me a hard time because I had to see some $100 bill but didn't get paid off. So, and I had some money to pay it, you know. They say, listen, you all kick us out. Kick us out for nothing really. And then you want me to do what? I take the money, I go and take a trip to Miami, but it's one of my cousins, bro, like just to be with them for a little bit and just talk, bro.
So did you finish at Kennesaw?
Yeah, I stayed there like 2 more years after that, and then get my degree and everything. And I finished what I went over there for. And if I really wanted to, I could have stayed. I had my OPT, I had everything, like I still have my card, like the
I still have mine too.
Yeah, the work access card, but still, I didn't even talk about the suicidal thoughts and suicide. Okay,
so let's get in there, because
all these things, because it's just you still ain't really healed from the things what I was talking about from when you was 13, 14, issues you was dealing with, and feeling like nothing really worth anything. Like, so you do the conventional things like you say we live in a time now where you smoke and just,
that's like some type of drug.
Yeah, that's a numbing agent. And then, that has become commonplace, and drinking a little bit. Pornography always is another thing, was present. Girls. And then still you trying to go to counseling and do that type of stuff and talk about all these things and unpack all these feelings, but it is feel like you so deep and down into just life and life just weighing in on you that you just feel like it really ain't no way out. And that's when you feel like death feel like death is really the only way out, where like to just escape whatever you're dealing with. And bro, the number one thing, what I'd say, like coming away so understand, like you can still function in these times. Like you can still put on a happy face and go to school.
You can put on a mask.
Put on a mask, go to work and do all the particulars and talk to people and you see them and, for your family and like do a little jig and dance. But you know how you feel when you go home at night. You know how you feel.
Lay down, bro. That's what I always say.
When you can't sleep. Like
when you can't sleep, but when you lay down, try to close them eyes, the real you come up.
When you can't sleep. Like, and you can't really, you'll feel some points when you're so depressed and so heavy laden with life, you can't even talk. Like you can't even find words to say to people. And that's why, like we was talking about before the interview, like people just going out straight through, like, that don't make me feel alive.
The constant always partying and like,
bro, you have people in life who can't eat. Like, you have people in life who children have leukemia. But you have people in life who, like in Africa and different parts of the world, like bro, they risking, and Haiti, they risking drowning in the sea just to get hair. And hair is a bunch of garbage. So, bro, like, there's so much things with, like, so everything what I tell you just now is really help you to put life in perspective. Like how would your, like what type of life your mama used to live? What type of life your grandparents used to live? What type of life your pastor or whoever, like positive role model in your life used to live? Like, and they had problems too. Everyone had issues. So that whole story what I tell is that ain't why people have stories 10 times worse than what I just say. Like, and I'd say, so counseling, it did help at certain points, but even with that, right? You talk,
so when you turn, when it was, okay, like you had your mother dying in 2014 and then you go through this traumatic experience in 2 years
That's
later.
2017 when it happened.
Oh, so this happened in 2017? Okay, so this, because, trauma and all these different things compound itself. Because like you maybe not deal with one, but then you're just stacking it up or up and then just aging and
you still have to make money. Like, you still have to help keep a job, which you might not like. Like we was talking about, like what you don't really want to do. What you're just doing. And
then being in spaces where you don't feel like you nothing. Like you ain't a comp. And then it's the whole comparison syndrome too. Because now you look at your peers.
That's why I came off social media, bro. Like I ain't even on social media right now. Like I might do something here and there just for parents or something, but like I ain't gonna go back on till I comfortable with everything.
That's very fair. That's very fair. Because like, bro, people underestimate that whole comparison narrative, bro. Because now you start looking like, babe, what are you doing wrong? And I mean, PG was just talking about this like a couple weeks ago. Like, you get older and you like, it feel like you should have supposed to accomplish certain things by now, but you still like, you a man, but you still feel like a boy. Or whatever, and you're trying to shake this feeling like, babe, what I doing wrong? Like I did everything that I was supposed to do, but it still ain't working. It still ain't happening. And then you get frustrated. And then if you in a relationship at that moment, you take out that frustration in your relationship because like you ain't really mad at her, you mad at yourself. And it's like, and her telling you it okay or whatever, or even if she does things, let's say, or she have eyes for the next dude. That compounds it even more. So you start getting on top, and you ready to implode. So
and
it's
that's
like
the next thing I even want to talk to, that another person, they ain't gonna fix you, man. Like your daddy or your mommy, your family, like a girl, your wife. like I don't expect no woman to come and rescue me in life, like for my problems. I don't expect no woman to be my therapist or heal me. Like that's where a lot of men they gone wrong, like because they go on there, a woman with all these issues, like she have her own problems. Like, she have her own thing she trying to deal with. Like and they still love you, they still want to help you, but ain't no woman can rescue you. Like, you see what I mean? So don't go thinking that, oh, I need a girlfriend or I need a wife to crown me and have me, keep me in check, because you got to do it for yourself.
Yeah, for real. And that's why I always tell dudes, like, you gotta, before you do anything with any relationship thing, you have to heal yourself. You have to ground yourself. You have to be comfortable with you. Because once you have that peace within inside you, then it's like, all right, well, when someone's saying, oh, I'm making them feel like this, I can identify, is this something I'm actually doing or this how you feel? But because you in this by-head space that you don't feel like your life come together how it needs to be, you confused because you trying to figure out, first you're trying to make peace with yourself. Then you're trying to make peace within a relationship with somebody else. And then they have these expectations of what you're supposed to be doing as a career. So you're trying to make peace with your life living and things like that. Then the expectations of your parents maybe or other people, like, so it's like it becomes too much and people implode. Most men implode.
Yeah.
And
and I feel like a big part of that is because they taking it on, like society already try to put all type of things on you, like you're supposed to be making X amount of money, you're supposed to have this, you're supposed to do that at this age in life, like. And then if you accept that, then I can make you feel like, oh, I ain't nothing, I ain't this, I ain't that. Meanwhile, like, we live in this life, like, you didn't ask to be here, bro. No one asked to be here, like, to just live and to grow up wherever you are, bro. You have to find what could work for you. Like some people just is go on the sea and fish, way. Not saying that's the easy job, but you could be a fisherman, bro. And that's your happiness right there. Like, going on the water, getting your catch, you selling, you go on the water a couple weeks now, that ain't no easy job, and you getting your catch and then coming back and you living. Some people look down on them type of careers, like they say, oh, why you ain't no big hotshot lawyer or doctor, or we send you to these schools and this and that, right? But you were never asked to be none of that. You didn't never asked to be like, you might have just want to play basketball or like play soccer or whatever it is. Like, and society is trying to tell you, you can't do this, you can't be that, you got to make money, you got to do this, you got to compromise. And I feel like a lot of time people compromise, they really just regret it.
Yeah, they do. Because it ain't they ain't compromising for something that really makes them happy. They just doing it out of necessity.
Yeah, just to live.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to say is that talking to all like the therapists and counselors, right? Even that, it could kind of make you feel like you running in circles because you go to this one. Like, some of them never really been through a lot of life issues. They just had their parents send them to school and they know about this theory and that theory, and they looking at you like, yeah, I understand. And they never really been through nothing, and then they went prescribe you a drug or two and then say, I did a good job. They didn't do really nothing to help you. And then they can make their money and continue, and you go try this one and that one and feel like this one don't fully understand you, this one don't totally get it. And it's expensive, like we was talking about before, like we really get access to it, like good healthcare. So at the end of the day, you need something to ground you that's stronger than all of this what we say. So counseling is good. I'm not saying that it ain't good, because it helped me a lot throughout the time, but that alone ain't gonna make you like quote unquote happy. It gotta be a mix of things. You gotta exercise, man. You gotta get out. You gotta have a good community of people. You gotta eat healthy food, man. You gotta have a goal. Like, you might not know your purpose, but find something to work towards. But you ain't working in vain. And by the most important thing, what I'd say, would even get me, so this going on like 40 something days without smoking, and over the past like 7 years, I try at least 10 times to stop just for my own mental health, because even though it might help at certain points, that could really affect your emotions and your chemical balances too. And I'd say what helped me the most out of all this time was building a relationship with God. I say Jesus Christ. And I still ain't perfect, still ain't nothing like that, still have my faults and flaws. But I tell myself nowadays, if I don't do nothing else in life, and even how I put saying this on camera, people hold me accountable to this, but if I don't do nothing else in life, if I don't never become a millionaire, nothing like that, I just feel like someone looking out for me and really checking for me. And out of all this whole time, I'd say that make me feel the best out of everything what I just said.
Because going through those situations and feeling like you don't really have no one to lean on or talk to, the loneliness adds to the feeling of depression, and you be like, ain't nobody to care for you. And that sort of really comes into play with the passing of our friend around a year prior to that incident at Kennesaw. And just learning from different experiences, because I'm into where someone put a gun in my face, but I've been around things like that, or where it was.
Everyone's story is different.
Yeah,
everyone have a different story.
Yeah, so it's like I understand the whole you have all these things that affect you, and you don't feel like you have no one to talk to, and that's what brings you closer to finding God and finding who you truly are, and start loving yourself and healing yourself. And then you start realizing what life really about, But yeah, this was great. We like to thank Jade for coming on another provocative episode. We need to have more Jade was here.
Hey, bro, this is therapy for me. And the reason why I say let me do this is because I know people just need things like this, and not just for me, or not just to satiate my own ego or nothing like that. It's something what I feel a lot of people just need in life. I just trying to find this quote what I wanted to end with. You were saying something else in terms of Ed.
But I was telling Jade behind my ad, unfortunately he transitioned many years ago due to succumbing to his own inner thoughts. And I was saying, he really inspired me to do everything I do today. When I accomplish certain things, whether it be with the Original People Network or the Jungle Trademark or whatever, I can never not think about him, because it's he advised me to do, regardless of the situation, just always be fruitful and, figure out a way. And it's I did it. So, yeah.
Ed is a beautiful person. This aside from money, and Ed had money, and Ed was in the army. Ed suffered from PTSD, and Ed used to fill up his times with different things, building projects, watching movies. We'd chill, hang with Ed, smoke. I can't find one bad thing to say about Ed.
You can, because he just was always, if you needed someone to be there for you, he always was there.
And I love Ed, and regardless of whatever people believe, I feel like his spirit of peace, But I just wanted to end this one thing. It's Matthew 28, verse 20, and just say, and remember that I'll always be with you, even until the end of time. So that's no matter what people going through. Everyone have a different walk in life, something what they going through and dealing with. Really build a relationship with God.
And on that, we out. KSU.
Yeah.